guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're talking about water and water preservation and water storage. The other day I've done a video about the water shortages and water rationing that are coming our way, and a couple of you have asked to do a video on water storage. I have done one probably about 6 or 7 months ago, but it's a long time ago. Many things have changed since. However, my approach to water storage not really changed that much since the last video. However, I thought I would do this for all of you guys who recently joined the channel. So generally, the water preservation and the whole thing about preparedness of water, in my opinion, depends on the ability to harvest the water, ability to purify the water, and ability to store the water. And I'm going to bring the storage one first, because I think many of you probably feel put off by storing water, because there's so much information there, right? That people are sort of blowing things out of proportion in terms of storing the water and kind of scaring people, especially also the cost of and the ability of storing your water, not in the plastic bottles, but in those sort of blue containers that you can buy in States and you can buy them here. They are kind of like a massive 40 litre, this is not 40 litre and it's not the one I'm talking about, they're similar, massive canisters of 40 litres blue. But to be fair, all of those people that are doing those videos and telling people this is the only way to store your water like indefinitely, they're the ones that have like 1 million subscribers and they can bloody afford to buy them. Those water containers, I looked, even a 25 litre blue water container, it's like £46. £46 just for the container alone. I understand, guys, like those things are probably literally indestructible, and if you want to store your water long term, absolutely, if you have the money. But who nowadays, with the cost of living crisis, we're just struggling to like get the water, not at all to let's spend £46 on just one container so we can store water long term. So I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with those videos. I think in the current situation for where I'm standing and for many of you where you're standing, spending £46 on the 40 whatever litre container empty one, it's not really feasible. So I'm going to kind of bust the myth on that one, and we're going to cover just the basic water storage. But first of all, let's start with the first thing, is the ability to basically harvest your water and ability to get the water apart from storing this at home. Of course, we covered this in the previous video, guys, is having the outdoor ability just to collect your rainwater. As simple as having fuel the water butts or the IBC tank, which is the 1,000 litre tank connected to a downpipe or roof anywhere of your shed or anywhere possible. So this is to me, this is the only way and possible way of collecting water. If you do live somewhere near the water stream, that's absolutely fine. You can purify that water as well. That's absolutely great. However, half of the time, really, especially in States, you guys probably can't trust the water and whatever's in the river. And for a fact, in Wales, I know that we have a big river nearby, and I know that the water company is actually pumping sewage into the river, which is absolutely disgusting. So personally, I would never ever trust the river water, even after filtering it, knowing what I've seen swimming in water as well, like floating in water, not swimming. So yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. So to me, rainwater is the only thing really I would trust to drink, unless of course there's a massive thing happening, that something's happening with the environment, like a fallout or whatever. However, guys, I don't care about this. It's not something I'm really prepared for, and it's not something any of us can be probably prepared for. Yes, I think there are water filtration systems that can filter nuclear fallout, but guys, as an average people, we're not really preparing for that. Let's be frank. We are, I think, at the moment concentrating on water because purely of the water shortages and the sheer price and what's coming to us in terms of rationing, rather than actually thinking and worrying about the fallout that might ruin our water supply. Like, if you're a true prepper and if you have millions of money, yes, you can do like loads of things you can do. But anyway, moving on. So next things, guys, is the filtration of your water. And you can buy many of the filters online. There's a Berkefield, Royal Berkey, whatever they are. There's a different ones that are really uberly expensive. The replacement cartridges cost like hundreds of pounds, although apparently they're meant to be A-okay. However, none of us, or many of us, can afford £400. So we did a few months back, and I did the video on this one, we built our own charcoal water filtration system. It's a gravity water filter. I have 2 charcoal filters in there. If you haven't seen the video, put the link up above. And rather than us spending £400 on a Royal Berkey, that's costed us £80, including 2 charcoal filters. The filters were the aftermarket filters, so they're not made by the genuine manufacturer. However, they are a charcoal filter, so if you can afford to, you can buy yourself a original filter. But to be fair, £100 a piece, and you need 2. again, people can't afford to. So to me, a charcoal filter there seems to be doing a good enough job. We have done a water test with the strips on the filtered water, and it comes up on a par with normal mineral water in the bottle. So I'm happy with that. And for £80, you can't really argue with that. So have a look at the video, guys, if you're interested, okay? So the next thing, again, as a prep, I always mention is having options of everything. So if the filters are not available, or if you may not have a space, that is absolutely fine. The Oasis tablets at the moment are a really, really cheap thing that I always have to hand. They have a really, really long expiration date, and half of the time the dates on them, again, it's a few years. However, guys, they are basically like a chlorine tablet. So anything that's got chlorine will last you past the expiration date anyway. They are still super cheap, bear in mind the circumstances of people waking up and preparing more. I have here enough tablets to filter around 3,000 litres, and that probably cost us about like £6. It depends. The Oasis tablets, they have different options per tablet, different strength. So the tablets I have, is each tablet will basically purify between 20 and 25 litres of water. So in this little pack, as I said, 3,000, I have a few of those, so I'll be absolutely fine for a little while purifying my water for drinking. Saying that also, those charcoal filters are apparently guaranteed for good, literally like 6 years of filtering normal water, rainwater. We're not talking about filtering sewage, but they're going to last us a good few years as well. So, and we'll be buying spares. So having those options to hand is absolutely great, really space saving, and basically a really, really good thing to have. If you didn't want to have tablets, I know that you can filter water with the mild bleach solution. You can put about 8 droplets of unscented bleach into a gallon, which is 4.5 litres roughly. So having a bleach to hand as well, it's kind of handy too. So there we have it. I'll bring you, whilst we talked about the containers as well, guys, we have those, all right? They're not costing a fortune. I paid a little while back, give you that. It was like £12.50, I think, on Amazon. Italian brand called ICS something. Anyway, they're great. I do use them for storing my vinegar, homemade vinegar for my chickens. I also have some empty ones. We use them for camping, for the water, so because you can dispense water easily, and basically they're really, really handy to have in the SHTF scenario. If there is no tap water coming out from your tap, obviously you can put your resources of water in here, and you can control the tap there, which is a really good thing to have. So if you can still buy them, which I'm pretty sure you can, have a look like on eBay, Amazon, but the dispensing part is really, really handy. I know I've seen in the home bargains you can get those things, but like foldable bottles. Yes, they're not really guaranteed to be that kind of strong, but as an emergency, because I think they're only about like £3.99, and I have a little tap, so it's kind of a handy thing to have. So I walked past it once, I kind of registered it, and I thought I should have bought it, so at some point I will come back and buy it. So next thing that we are talking about bottled water. And again, I've seen so many videos that people disregarding this as the method of storing. They're already bottled, they're already packaged. Why would you not buy them and store them? If you keep the bottles of water in a cool, dark place, they will last you for absolutely ages. It's a mineral water, it's clean water, it's absolutely fine. But yet I still see many people saying, oh my God, but you can't keep this on the floor because eventually they will leak. Well, I'm really sorry. How long the bottle have to sit there on the floor? They will suddenly decide to deteriorate the plastic and leak. We're not storing this water for like 30 years, guys. We're just preparing, well, some of you may do, but we're just preparing for having the water for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. So I'm certainly not worried about my bottles starting a leak and suddenly ruining my floor. Yes, I'm keeping an eye on them, absolutely. But I'm certainly not going to think, I'm not going to buy this bottle because it's going to have a leak because the plastic deteriorates. Or people saying when you buy the small bottled waters, because you can't stack them up for the same reason, because the bottles can crack and again and can leak. Have you not seen them, how they store them in like Booker's and Costco wholesale? They're literally pallets 6 foot high. I don't see the bottles there sparking a leak and literally leaking everywhere. It doesn't happen. If it's only you guys, if you forever like doing this with a bottle on the concrete floor, yeah, you might actually create some micro hole and things that will leak. But absolutely, as a general storage, I have those guys sitting there in a few places on the top of each other, covered up, and they don't have a problem. So please, if you see somebody saying, oh my God, you shouldn't do this, don't worry. At the same time, people saying, But yes, the plastic the bottles come into, it's really bad for your health because, water going to sit there and the plastic going to leach in there, all the microplastics. I'm not being funny, but it's everywhere anyway. But we're talking about preparedness. Then are you really worried about microplastics when you can't actually get any drinking water? I don't think so. We've been consuming them for absolutely years, guys. I'm not saying this is right, but we've been consuming them for years, so I don't see this as a big deal. So when somebody says to me, oh my God, you're storing this in the normal plastic bottles, I'm like, yep, I do. So, for example, guys, that bottle of, this is from Asda, and I literally bought this like 2 days back, okay? And I tell you a story, I popped into Lidl. Lidl literally only had some flavoured water, the little bottles, and 1 pack of 6 2-litre bottles. That was that. Tesco's pretty much had only really expensive small bottles, literally a couple of packets, and that was that. And Asda, funny enough, only had big bottles, about 6 or 7, and that was that. So we can see now people are kind of genuinely starting to probably panic or prepare, either one or the other. So we are seeing the shortages of water already, and it's only going to get worse. So if you haven't started buying your bottled water because you're worried about storing your bottles, water in the bottles, then please don't panic. So anyway, so it's been bought a couple of days back. The date on this is June 2025. This is 2 years. It's 2 years of it just being as it is without any issues. If manufacturer tells you this is 2 years, it's probably got another 2 years on top. So long as you guys keep them in a cool and a dark place. The sunshine and the heat, this is what creates and will create issues of deteriorating plastic and bacterial growth inside the water. But if it stays there out of your way, guys, you will be absolutely fine. So please don't worry about it. And the same is with the little bottles. I'm not sure the date on that, but I'm pretty sure, okay, it's no point me looking anyway. I'm pretty sure this has got as well a couple of years. And yes, the rotation of water is kind of important if you're going through and drink a lot of this. I brew with the big bottles, okay, and then I refill those bottles with the tap water. All I do then, I put the letter T on the lid and on the front, and I've put this in a different area so I know that this is a tap water and not a drinking water. So if in the time of emergency I need to have some water, I'll put this through my filter and they'll be absolutely fine. Again, some of you wondering whether you can just literally store a tap water as it is. Absolutely possible. And I know you'll see probably many posts that people saying to you, but you have to like add on extra bleach or extra tablets or purify before you bottling it. No guys, you don't. Our water in many places, A, is full of rubbish, but B, is actually full of chemicals. It's full of chlorine anyway. Half of the time, like I come out of shower, I can smell, and certain days worse than others, I can smell the chlorine on my skin. So our water is heavily chlorinated. That means it's absolutely safe to be stored in the bottles for really long time, so long as you keep it in a cool and dark place. So I really, guys, I hope I have covered it. All I want you to answer the questions for you who asked. This is absolutely fine. And what I do, guys, is simple as that. I do buy my little bottles and the big bottles. And I know, again, that people are concerned about, all the environment and the plastic. Yes, I totally understand. However, we're talking about water. We all need water. We can't live without it. So if we're talking about stockpiling the drinking water, I don't see a problem on having this in the bottles and storing them. And this is what I do. I don't rotate my initial, because they last for say 2 years plus another couple of years easily on top. I'm not preparing my water for 10 years. As I said, I only want to make sure we're covered for, 6 months or so. For drinking water, probably for a little bit longer, because where we live, it rains a lot, so we can always harvest the rainwater and filter it anyway. At home, roughly, we have about 400 litres of water in a bottles purely for brewing and for drinking. Recently, I found it, which I mentioned before, the sparkling water seems to be been scarce as well, so I always have a lot of this on hand, especially when I go to like a Booker's, which is a wholesale place. So to me, to be able to have this in my house, and as I said, the rotation part, I only rotate the first accessible part, if that makes sense, because my water kind of stacked up long and tall. I don't have the ability, well I do, but it's too much work, to kind of rotate and go all the way to the end. However, I write in the marker, in the Sharpie, the approximate date on the bottle, not approximate, but the date on the bottle. So I glance at them once in a while, and when it comes to maybe if it's got like a year or 6 months to go, I potentially can then dig them out and rotate them. But as it comes at the moment, I'll buy them, I put them to the front, and then I'll take the furthest one from accessible point and the other one the other ones just sit there. And I've been doing this for absolute years, and I never had a problem. As I said, I had the water sitting there past the date. The only problem that you ever have, or I ever had, is storing the water with sweetness. So you get those waters with like addition of lemon or some other fruit and stuff. It says it's water, there's got no sugar, but it's got sweetness. They're the ones that seem to deteriorate far quicker because of the sugar content and stuff that they put inside it. So if you choose to stockpile the water, just stockpile your normal water. And please just put it somewhere in a dark place. If you don't have a dark place, I've just covered mine like on the top of the bin bag or towels, anything you want, just to give this a dark so the sun can't get into it. And this is, guys, as simple as that. Please don't listen to people that are really complicated. People that sometimes complicated have more money than sense. Absolutely, I understand. But if you're an average person like myself, and we certainly don't have any spare income, started buying £46 containers to put out, a few quid of or free tap water, then absolutely, please believe me that the storing stuff in the water is absolutely fine. And if you're able to get those bigger ones, obviously they're better because you can reuse them easier, reuse them not just for water but for many other things. Those saying that the water's been going up through the roof, as you could imagine. So the Asda ones, they used to be £1.05, and then they're gone up to 110 and then 120, and it's now 140. So it's not the cheapest. However, if I see them, I'll buy 3 or 4. It's just how it goes, guys. So if you can see any, just get them. Tesco's ones are better because they have a handle, but again, and they are a touch cheaper. However, I haven't seen the Tesco's ones for quite a while. So if you do think, guys, like, is a no better time than now, because there's still some water there. So if you haven't started your prepping journey, do. Don't forget also, for your water that you want to store for, say, flushing you lose, obviously you can collect the water, not water bottles, the bottles from your fabric conditioners, the big 5-litre stuff. At no circumstances, guys, use them for the drinking water, because the chemicals that stayed in there will leach into your water. But to be able to flush your toilet, you can collect those containers as well, and then keep them spare in the toilet. Few of them you kind of sorted for a few flashes anyway. So anyway, I hope I have covered everything. And before anybody says anything, this is just my opinion and how I do it, how I store my water. As I said, I'm just an average person. I don't have a huge disposable income to start spending a lot of money on things. Yes, you can buy yourself a little portable water filters. Again, to me, it's just a waste of time, because I have a family, and just for me having a little straw purification thing is just, it's just totally not going to work. So this is my way how I store it. I don't do anything. It's more simple, and just making sure I have my containers, my filtration long term, tablets for the long term, and my drinking water solution in bottles that will last you for a good few years as it goes. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and catch my breath. I hope you have enjoyed the video, guys. If you have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.